That's what and then the grasshopper lake. The one they saw, so the grasshopper that my son-in-law saw is a grasshopper lake. And that one had you can't see his face. But he has there's something hanging down like a shield on the face. So, but it looks like he was looking at us. It was about, I think he was standing around maybe about where the firewood is right there. He was looking at us.
Oh man.
So police took another bed. They took out the feet. They down there shot our stage down. I didn't know the sun from there all the way. He just jumped. He just kept moving it. He just there. He was looking back at us. And then I don't know what happened.
They looked at it with binoculars, and that's what
that one was. They saw that one a year ago, a year before. This happened to this year, 2 years ago. That's about 2 years ago it happened. And then after that, it is also in April. That's when they kill our sheep, 20 of them. There's no blood on them, nothing but my son said their back is broken in their neck. And that was it. Nothing, no blood. But one of them, they went and ripped the rib area, but there's no blood on it, nothing.
Did you find tracks?
the tracks was like
The track is like 3, the long
Toes in the claw.
and right here, and the part that
it's like a moccasin, like when it sits down, it looks like a moccasin, but the claws are kind of like this.
Yeah, from the thumbnail. Yeah. Yeah, I seen that on Facebook. I zoomed in. Look, there's a long nails.
Yeah, this is the closest that we came to was like taking doing that to our sheep.
They cry like too. When they
Like a
the dog will not bark. If they hear sound, they'll bark. But once he say cry, he cries like a sheep.
Yeah.
They're long. The way
It's loud.
they get long, really long. And then the dog shuts it. They just shake up. She does something to the dog. They don't bark at all.
They don't want to be added to the meat.
Yeah. So and then we had we started missing like sheep and goats, and we're just in this area here, so they really can't go nowhere because of the fencing. So we trapped all the way around trying to look for it, and we couldn't find no tracks or nothing where the sheep went out. And then one day, the pandemic, we went down into the canyon. It was a white sheep and a black sheep. We found the skin, like some of the skins down there, like black and white. I go, something happened to our sheep, we're saying that.
And then when my son said after they hauled those sheep away, there's somewhere down the was, and they said they went there all the sheep on the bushes by canyon. He said 2 or 3 days later, he said I went back over there. Nothing.
Was it over here, this canyon?
Yeah, somewhere this way.
Oh my God.
There was nothing to see that they knew.
It was gone?
It was gone, nothing.
Oh my God.
He said there's just a little piece of wool. The wool they get is torn, not that the rest is nothing.
Sasquatches will approach homes. At times they'll kill livestock. In the case of the Navajo reservation, where they're killing a lot of livestock currently. The method to keep them away or to stop them from doing that is you want to establish a boundary. And you establish a boundary by putting scent markings around. Now they will mark territory using visual cues like the twisting and breaking of trees, but also scent. And in nature, whatever has the strongest odor is the dominant creature in that particular location. So what you need is something that's stronger scent than the Sasquatch. In this case, bleach mixed with lemon juice is one of the best options. And this has worked in just about every case that I've recommended to people to keep them away from their homes. So what you want to do is decide what distance you want to keep the creatures away from. whether it's a corral or house or whatever, and you'll spray that around the perimeter and do that periodically, and that should keep the creatures away. It's worked in every case that we've tried so far.
Sister, there's nobody over there. Nobody lives there.
Okay.
So they bend the corral too, where they went through the sheep, all in up. The corral was like this bend.
Wow. Yeah, they're really strong. They're crazy strong.
Where I come from, Miami Valley, after the animals, they take all the animals, they start taking clothes, your clothes, or the kids' shoes and clothes. That means you're going to take people next. You're a grocery store. That's all we are, a grocery store. He's coming to get what he wants, whenever he wants. And we're on the menu. It's all out. They'll settle for us. People are missing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. There was a lot of people recently around.
Yeah, sister, what we were talking about when we were coming back the other day. And she goes, I wonder if that creature that runs around here, some of these people are disappeared. Maybe he kills them all. They don't know.
That's what the old stories say. Underneath us, all across like Miami Valley, different areas, Rock Point, there's an entryway where you go into the earth, and if you go deep enough, you're gonna find shoes, moccasins, clothing, toys from all different ages of time.
There's a very similar or parallel situation in Colorado. I know a deputy sheriff there who did some hiking in the mountains, and I can't remember if he was hunting or what, but him and some other people found a lot of human artifacts in a small valley where there should have been none. It was far off the beaten track. There was no homeless people in the area. It was way too far away for things like that. So, and it was an assortment of very odd items, very random kinds of things, aside from clothing, shoes, a tent, not a camp. This stuff was like it was brought in from an outside area and simply deposited there. So it was a lot of unusual items. So there are parallels in these kind of situations, whether people are taken or not. The creatures will take human objects and then deposit them in certain places.
You'll find the it's in a ten. Daisy Belito, they took the head. It took the dread. We couldn't find the head. Couldn't find the hair.
And it had no blood.
Oh, wow.
And then he killed the dog too.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
The dog probably got mad at him or something.
And sometimes we see parallels with Bigfoot. One of those in like that situation happens to be with Joe and Walter in East Texas, where they found the wild boar with its head missing and no blood. So with Bigfoot, there are parallels in behavior.
Nate, Betty was telling me that too, that Nate, I guess he took some tour people from, I don't know, like when he was working.
Yeah.
He said he took some people down there with later on late. And they said they were walking through the canyon. They said they were almost halfway to the canyon. All of a sudden, from the other side of the canyon, something made a loud howl. And I guess they were, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And then I guess, what's that? What is that? And then I guess Nate said, I don't know what it is, but. And then I guess they said, oh, I'm not going that way. I'm leaving. And then they said, let's go, let's leave. I think there's something out there. So they said they went back out and they scanned the people, took off and came back up. Yeah. Wow. So they said they never went to the other side.
Ernest used to say that.
Yeah, so I've been tracking them for 9 years. They travel far. The biggest tracks I found was 23-inch tracks.
Real?
Yeah, all the way to size 6, size 5 to size 13. They're the family groups, and they run. Like when they walk, like normal walk is 6 foot each step, but when they start running, it increases 3 by 3 feet. So 6 to 9 to 12, 15. Then they're there, because those 18 depends on how big they are. They can start flying if they need to. So we have been tracking multiple of them. And for me, from what I know, is that They can run on rock because they don't want to leave their tracks behind. They're real smart. They'll jump to a rock and look for another rock and jump on there, so they'll lose you. Yeah. So these, for me, you know, we stick to the evidence. You know, the chant we found, all these things, and they go rip barks off of trees, and you see their big block fingernails, 4 of them ripping barks off. So they do things that we don't really know yet, and you know, it all starts here, meeting you guys and giving me information. And the next time I would come back would be ask, where's your sister's at? Get to know her, and then get a pinpoint of where this guy is. And then I can go and sneak in and sneak out and just take pictures. But if he gets too close, I'm aiming for his eye with my 10 millimeter. So that's where we would be starting off. The next one was get more evidence, hard evidence, where it's no one can.
We know it comes around because we can hear that loud, that cow noise, and the dogs will be barking. And then we know, like, when it yells, the dog quiets down, and then it'll yell again. So we kind of know it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when they can come that way. You can hear it that way.
On the other side of this, I have the in-laws here. They seen a buckskin Bigfoot come into the corral, pick up a 5-foot tall cattle, and broke its back and threw it on the shoulders and stepped back over a 6-foot tall corral like nothing. And they tracked it. They're tracking it to the, you know where Preston Mesa is? Stay away from the north side because there's a cave that goes into Preston Mesa. A creek goes into that mesa. That's where his entryway is. They seen they're tracking it for 10 miles. He gets the cow not heavy. He dropped it and he was dragging the cow into the cave. They got deeper into the cave. They're smelling death and blood and rot and all that stuff, and they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to go further. There was 5 of them, all rifles. They got scared in that cave. They turned around, went back to their homestead. This time around, they stashed rifles and shotguns all around the homestead. And they seen him coming again. They made a signal. They all got their rifles. And he stepped over the corral to go after the next 5-foot calf, and they all unloaded on him. The only thing he did was he wanted this, covered his eyes and turned around and walked back. And he never came back again. They're saying they were shooting him, the bullets there underneath, and so the only thing he did is cover his eyes like this.
The skin she got on is bulletproof. There's a canyon way up there. It's just pitch dark in there. And one time I went in there, and I didn't want to go in there anymore because it's just black in there. You can't see nothing in there. And it kind of like smell like mildew and all that. Kind of stunk. And I said, I don't want to go in there. But we have flashlights and all that, so we just backed out. I didn't want to go in there, but it was pitch black in there.
He can give,
Goes that way.
yeah, they give scent off when they're excited. They give their odor off. And sometimes they can smell sweet too. There's in Kaivito where I was tracking one from Square Butte to the Mesa. We were smelling honey, really smelling something sweet. Yeah, I don't know if that's her. If those are her or not. Yeah, yeah, we're not alone here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lives here on this whole mesa going up to Kabiji outside of Kaibito. Yep, all along there, the people say in the morning he's yelling all the way those mesas. So one of the rules over there, they have to stay off of those mesas. Nobody can be up there because he's up there. See, we have all corners. I even went to Hopi land. They seen him too. Some scary stories those Hookies had. They said that they got home from Flagstaff one night around 11 p.m. They were hungry, so they were cooking outside the barbecue. They said the dogs was just making a weird howl, bark, and growl all at the same time. So it was looking towards the fence. They looked that way, and they said big pairs of eyes was really low to the ground looking at them. And they got the spotlight. They put the spotlight on, and they said they big old head on all fours, and he stood up really tall, turned around, and just walked off into the creek. And they said that creek, Polacco Creek, that wash, every now and then you'll see him traveling, going back and forth. He goes into the Little Colorado River towards Loop, and he takes it into the Grand Canyon here. There's these canyons that these Navajo police told me he lives in these canyons, and he frequently travels the Little Colorado River to Loop. Then it goes into Prestock, that canyon del Muertos goes right into Sedona. So it's all a freeway. It's all there's ways and passages, and we're stuck on this road that takes us circles. Yeah.
Back in, that's when I was about maybe 10 or 11 years old. And at that time, we were up here with one of my aunt's place. And then it was getting late. The sun was going down, and my aunt told us to take the horses to the water. It's about maybe 3 miles where you take your horses. So we were going right out there, but all of a sudden we were just riding. Well, I thought it was just my imagination, both of us. And when we were going down, towards that way, and all of a sudden, it was just a flat place way up there, just grass and all that tree. No trees or nothing. It's just like so. And we saw 2 tall ones, all hairy. They were running. There was an orange one, and there was a dark brown. And at that time, there was an old hogan right where that's where it went in. So, and then we got scared and we just turned around and went back, and we just told my aunt, I said, we already took the water to the thing, so we're not going over there now. We already done it. So we just lied to her.
It went into
the hogan, that old hogan, but they tore it down later on. But I didn't think that was a long time ago when I was just.
Seminary where you do your ceremonies, the child and the hogan over there?
No, it was way up there.
Further up. And they're running away from you.
Yeah, my Nellie lives by custody them and like killed. So she's the one that taught us. Don't go out in eclipse. Don't do. She's really to do.
Don't whistle at night.
Don't whistle at night. Close your blinds. And she's the one that really stressed it. Like if we had like pitch dark, she wouldn't let us. She had her bucket because she had running water. We had to pee.
Yeah.
Like no, you're not going out. You stay in.
It's always these two.
Like me too, and she wouldn't talk about it. Well, so you don't talk about it. You don't. And I think
You saw you welcome in. You're upping them. You'd be talking.
so. You're talking about it at night. You're inviting.
Yeah.
And so, and I didn't get it. But when I go back to my SIA's house in Cameron, she was really stirring. So she was very
That misses some camera.
that Gray Mountain. Is it taken in here, Ben?
Almost took us, almost took my cousin, almost took my grandma, almost took a lot of little cousins. We left the window open, the trailer, long black hairy arms trying to grab us, take us out. Where's this at? Miami Valley, Douglas Mesa area. Because Douglas Mesa is right here in Cedar Mesa and Bears Ears. So he comes from there that way too. And then Colorado, Sleeping Ute Mountain is just right there. And San Juan's his highway. So he comes from different angles. And we have underground caravans here. He knows we have our own habits and he likes to watch us. We're like for dinner and show he likes to watch what we're eating.
Do you feel like they just target certain people?
Possibly. Mainly women and children. Everyone's stories, picking penny on there, trying to drag him in. Bigfoot runs around here. He runs on people's roofs and standing next to the houses whistling at people.
Wow.
Yeah. Right here, he's chasing my sister up the road, running zigzags towards her. Wow. She's coming down from up here.
Wow.
Yeah. She says, going zigzag. She was watching it. She's like, coming at me that fast. Sure enough, his arms was almost to the road. Skinny and long and lanky.
Wow.
Right here, it was right here. She was running, she turned around, was getting closer. She made it on. She made it inside, told my uncle. By the time he got out, it was over here at that hill, that house over here.
Wow.
I was already over there.
Wow.
That house on this hill, across there, the blue 2-story over there with the shack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was already right there at that hill across right here. It was already right there making his way up.
It was that fast.
Yeah, that fast.
Well, that's intense.
Yep, and he ran on the roof here, running on the roof. My aunt told my uncle, and he ran off, boom, running that way.
Wow.
Yeah, they actually heard it trying to get on the roof. It jumped on the roof. They heard it kick the wall of the house, and it fell on the ground. They heard it fall on the ground. It jumped up again, and it got on top, and they heard it running across the roof, and it jumped on the ground, boom.
Wow.
And they heard it running into the hill.
Holy cow.
This is a hot spot too here.
Yeah, there was the daughter-in-law saw one where I think she thought it was a person at first trying to get in the corral. And as she approached, she realized it was this thing, you know, it was hair covered, and she yelled at it, and it let go of the corral, and she chased it. It took off running. Then she wasn't catching it, so she went and got in the vehicle and made the mad dash across the open area chasing it and lost it. But I don't know what she was going to say to it if she caught up with it. But apparently it was a juvenile. It was smaller, but it was just I've never heard a story like that where somebody actually tried to chase one down.
Yeah, she said it was a 5 foot tall, full of black hair. Then she walked up on it and she said, "Hey," and said the Bigfoot had the latch on the corral where you open and close it. Had his hand there. They let go, turned around, faced her, and made a dash. She took off.
I think the most interesting story though came from them when they were talking about seeing the Forest Service vehicle towing a trailer with a large box on the trailer, kind of a coffin-like box, but it was large, and then came back out. So he went down, the son went down to see who was on their land, you know, which you would do. I mean, these people are very remote where they live, so not many people out there, and anything that doesn't belong, they're gonna go. Like even us, they were thinking, well, you know, who's coming out here in a minivan? You have to add the van part. No. but they said this vehicle came out, and apparently this box wouldn't close. Whatever it contained was too large for the enclosure, so it was open, and he saw this creature, part of it, and it was kind of a fawn color, I guess you'd recall it, and it was, you know, hairy, and obviously he saw what it was, and they drove out with it, you know. So, and I think the story from Ben was that somebody killed one up there, and they called the Navajo Rangers. So here this Forest Service vehicle comes in and removes the corpse.
Yeah. And that dovetails with Ben's story, creature been shot, right?
Yeah, been shot by hunters in the corral. I guess the Bigfoot was getting into the corral to, you know, for the sheep. And these hunters went and took it out. I guess it was 2 hunters, I believe, when he shot it, and we got hauled out, and the boy went over, and you know, he looked over, and he seen that the box was not closed all the way because this creature was too huge.
You remember why he said he didn't go down? He chose to remain hidden, and maybe it was because it was an official vehicle or something. He didn't want to get, you know, caught up in whatever was going on, so he stayed hidden. But he observed this.
Yep, he said he waited till the driver went by, and he took a glance over. I guess he had a good view over what was going on underneath him, and he took a quick glance, and he went back over. And then, yeah, that's when the rumors, you know, whenever.
But he was a direct witness to it, so not the shooting, but, you know, the vehicle and trailer coming in with the box, and then he saw what was in the box going out.
I know this lady personally, and there was no reason for her to try to fabricate this, or she wouldn't, I don't think, would know how to make it something with AI or a false photo.